Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the WhyHunger podcast. And at WhyHunger, we believe that hunger is solvable and nutritious food is a human right. So that's why we work with grassroots organizations and social movements around the globe to fight hunger and build a better world. On today's episode, we have Hallie Templeton, who's a senior ocean organizer at Friends of the Earth, who's also a member of the Don't Cage Our Ocean Coalition, which WhyHunger is also a proud member of. Hallie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, Hallie, what is something people don't know about the fish that they're eating from their ocean?
That's a great question, and something that I learn constantly in this job. I'm always learning something new about seafood. And the thing that strikes me the most, I think, is that the fish that the majority of Americans eat is industrially farmed and not caught domestically on our coastline. And when it comes to industrially farmed finfish, the food that the fish eat is not naturally occurring in the ocean. It's actually a soy-based diet. And so a lot of what we're getting is not naturally produced or naturally fed. And on the other hand, the majority of industrially caught wild fish that the Americans consume here in the U.S. Is caught and produced with a major carbon footprint. So it's, unless you know your fishermen and know exactly where it was caught and buy it off the ship, it's most likely caught commercially, caught industrially, exported for processing through air, which has a big carbon footprint, and brought back to the U.S. for the consumer to eat.
You know, as I mentioned, WhyHunger, as well as Friends of the Earth, is part of the Don't Cage Our Ocean coalition, and there's also the Don't Cage Our Ocean movement that takes place. Can you tell us about the Don't Cage Our Ocean movement and what that's about?
Yeah, the Don't Cage Our Ocean movement is closely tracking federal attempts to put industrial ocean fish farms off the coast of the United States. And this attempt has been ongoing for about a decade, and thankfully we have fought off attempts in the past to get this industry up and running in the U.S. But it's back again with a vengeance, and we see it just like a freight train. It's much harder to stop a freight train before it begins moving, and it's on its way to start moving on the tracks. So right now we have federal legislation out called the Advancing the Quality and Understanding of American Aquaculture Act, and we are opposed to this legislation. It attempts to get the industry up and running, and that's a major call to action for the Don't Cage Our Ocean Coalition right now. We don't need this industry in the United States. Other countries that have had it are moving away from it currently because of all the harms on the environmental and the social side.
Yeah, and just to expanding on the movement a little further, I know there was a recent action back in January with in regards to the Don't Cage Our Ocean movement. Could you explain more how that went and what took place?
Yeah, we were very excited to get some feet on the ground and coalesce as a group in person. A lot of our work is virtual, just like this, so it gave us something to really feel powerful and coalesce around down in Florida in January. And it involved a proposed permit to put an industrial ocean fish farm in the Gulf of Mexico. And this would be the only industrial ocean fish farm in the United States at this time in federal waterways. We have a couple in state waters, but this would be the first in federal waters, and is meant to open the doors, to pry open the gateway for this industry elsewhere, to put more facilities in the Gulf and put more facilities across the U.S. coastlines. And a big concern for citizens down in the Gulf of Mexico is the red tide, and it's fed on nutrients. And these industrial ocean fish farms directly discharge untreated fish waste and other toxins like pharmaceuticals and excess feed directly into the waterway. It's a big problem anywhere, but it's especially a big problem in the Gulf. And so, yeah, we got a lot of people together. We packed the hearing room and told EPA, no, we don't want this in the Gulf of Mexico. A lot of citizens got involved. And the majority of people at the hearing, to the point of only 9 people were supportive of the farm. The rest were opposed. And we were there for about 4 hours protesting. It was great. It was really powerful.
So you spoke about the movement, and as well as there's the coalition, the Don't Cage Our Ocean Coalition. Can you tell us, like, who are some of the, as I mentioned, WhyHunger as well as Friend of the Earth, but who are some of the people that are behind the coalition, and what's the big goal in the face of big agriculture and what's being accomplished with the coalition?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that question. I couldn't be more proud to be a part of such a diverse and really powerful coalition of the Don't Cage Our Ocean movement. We've got such a broad group of people who really care about this issue and are on the same side of it, which I think speaks very highly for where we are right now and on this issue. And I think we're on the right side of it, if I say so myself. We've got farmers like the National Family Farm Coalition, a grassroots group of farmers who are concerned about making food produced right and doing it in harmony with the environment. And so we're a partner with them. We're a partner with you all at WhyHunger. And food safety, food security, groups like that who are concerned about the control of how food is made and who's involved in it and how people will just get food on the table every night. We've got environmental conservation groups like Friends of the Earth and Center for Biological Diversity and Earth Justice. We have fish harvesters groups like Pacific Coast Federation of Fishermen's Association and Northwest Atlantic Marine Alliance. So fishermen are gearing up. They're using the ocean in a responsible way and don't want to see it sold out to corporations. We also have Indigenous people on board. We've got the Indigenous Environmental Network with us on this, which is very powerful. Not to mention a number of other groups up in the Pacific Northwest who've been outspoken on stopping the industry out there. So like I said, it's broad, it's diverse. We're all on the same page, though. So I think it shows the set of people here who have a common denominator that is not profit, which is what we've seen on the other side. Our common denominator is just protecting the ocean and protecting communities and protecting our food system. And our call to action right now, I mentioned the Advancing Quality and Understanding of Aquaculture Act. We're trying to prevent that from progressing at all in Congress. It was just introduced last week, and the timing was abysmal with the pandemic that we're facing right now on a global level. It was really shameful that Congress made that move. And so I think it's important to come back to our roots, come back to what really matters, stop pushing a corporate-driven agenda at this time. And unfortunately, that is the theme that we're seeing in the government right now. So right now, that's our call to action, but there's always something moving. There's always something interesting going on. There will probably be more in Florida to do. And if you want to learn more about the movement, you can go to www.don'tcageourocean.org, and you can take action there. You can join the coalition, and you can learn more about everything I've talked about today.
One last thing, just so people are aware, like what are some of the most impacted areas, whether it's across the globe or across the country, that communities can get involved in and learn more about their fisheries and how they can take action? I know you said you can go to the website, but what are some places, just so people are aware, that need this action?
Yeah, so industrial ocean fish farm happens across the globe. It's a global problem, and countries from Chile to Canada are having this industry in their waterways, and communities are rising up at the local level to show that they are not going to have another fish farm come. They're opposing leases, they're opposing renewals, and new leases and new buildings. So there's also industrial fish farming on land, and we're seeing that move in Maine and in Washington State, where there's huge warehouses coming packed to the brim of finfish that will have a huge environmental footprint on the land. And so there's ways to get involved if you even don't live near the coastline. Here in the United States, we also have ocean-based fish farms at the state level, closer to shore in Maine and in Washington State. And so there's definitely room to get involved there and start a community opposition program. We're happy to help organize if you want some assistance on learning the issues. We've got lots of documents and fact sheets to show, what the harms are and ways to get involved there. We've got federal facilities attempting to get started. I mentioned Florida, that's in the Gulf of Mexico. There's going to be more attempted to come there. They're trying to come on both the shorelines on the Pacific and Atlantic coast as well. So we're seeing a Long Island facility and a San Diego facility trying to get started. So we're really being hit on all fronts, not a joking matter, and there's definitely ways to get involved there. Ask questions and demand answers from retailers and restaurants and other people who are providing your fish. Our goal at the end of all of our meals should be that we knew our fishermen who caught our fish and our fisherwomen. And then when you go out to eat, if you see Atlantic salmon on the menu, don't order it. It's industrially farmed. If you see salmon on the menu that doesn't say what it is, ask them, where is the salmon from? Is it from Alaska? Is it wild caught? Or is it from, Chile or another country that's industrially farming the salmon? And ask if your seafood is domestic or internationally caught. If it's a domestic caught fish, you are likely, good to eat it. We have strong fishery laws here in the U.S. But if it's caught internationally, it's likely from a country that has lesser strength regulations for fishing. So those are some easy things that consumers can do, even if you don't have time to organize your community and protest a fish farm. You can still make a difference.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you so much, Hallie. Thank you so much for the powerful information. And thank you for joining us on the show today. We wish you the best and be safe out there, okay?
Thank you so much. You as well.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for joining us for another edition of the WhyHunger podcast. Please remember to hit like and hit subscribe on this on YouTube. And for more information, please go to www.whyhunger.org. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Take care.